So now let us quickly render all of this data which is coming from our backend to our UI or to our front end, so that we can have all the data over here and we can get rid of this dummy data in the movies array over here. So we can get rid of this and get all the data from here or from the MongoDB Atlas. So we are going to make a variable. This is let movies or let data. This will store all of the thing that Apollo client is providing us inside the console. So we have this .props.data. Okay, so that this thing is referring to this data over here, this property over here, this .props.data. Okay, inside data we have all of these over here, we need them. Okay, so inside data we have a unique property. So let me read. Oh, it's an error. So if I return, so inside the data we have a unique property that is loading. Initially the loading is false, initially the loading is true. Okay, and we can check it. Initially the loading was true, and once the component has been rendered, the loading is false. So we can take advantage of it. Okay, so we have return data.loading. So we have data.loading the property. If the data is loading, we can return h2 something like we are loading your movies. Okay, we are loading your movies. Data.loading. Oh, the spelling is not right. LOADING. Okay, we have data.loading. We are returning your movies. And if the movies are not loading, okay, so we don't need return over here. So now this .state .movies, so we are referring to this array over here, and as I said, we don't need this data over here because we are going to use MongoDB. So we are replacing this .state with data, and this data refers to this thing over here. So we can kick this thing out. Okay, we don't need you anymore. Okay, data. So we have that data, this data coming from the Apollo client. Okay, so we have returned this is a single movie. Okay, so now if I refresh, you will see each child in a list should have unique key property. Okay, it is a key error, so we have key movie.id. Now the movie array is not more, so we don't have an key like id. So you can see inside data we don't have anything like id. So let me stretch it. Inside we don't have anything like id, we have only name, genre and action. So we can rename it with name. We can use the name as a unique property because it is unique. So we can use it as a key property. So it is John Wick 111. Okay, this is a key for that movie. Okay, so now we have all of these over here: John Wick 111, John Wick 2, John Wick Parabellum and John Wick 5. But now you will see that this thing, John Wick Parabellum third movie, is a bit looking strange. So this is H2. Now let it be H3 to make the font a little smaller so that it can fit in. Okay, if I refresh, now it looks very fine. It is aligned perfectly. So we have John Wick Parabellum and then 2029. So all of this data is coming right over here. So now if I edit this 2075, so now if I edit this and write 2011 or 2077. Okay, so now you will see inside our front end. Where is front end? Okay, inside front end, if I refresh front end, refresh, okay, now you will see 2030. Okay, so now this is from the backend, it is coming to our front end, it is rendering correctly. So now what do we want? We want an image. So the image is not coming because the source props.image is not provided, because a prop named as image is never provided, which was provided by the image array we just deleted. So we have inspect, and inspect inside console we have object. Inside object we have the movies, and let me expand. Inside the movies we don't have an image property. So now we can get rid of this image. I'm not going to pass it like a prop. So let us grab that URL, but where was that URL? Control Z, copy paste, and then Control Y just to grab the URL. Okay, so now we have the URL. I have the source, and then copy paste the source. So now we have the source of the image as here. So inside a front end we have this John Wick Parabellum, and then the image, and then the name, action, genre, and the year. Okay, so all of it is fine, it is coming from a backend. Okay, so this is if data dot loading, we are loading your movies. If there is no loading, or if the data dot or the movie length, or there is no movie inside a collection, now what it will show? If data dot movies, that means the collection is empty. We will return please add movies of your choice. This will be better. Please add movies of your choice. Okay, so now if there is not a single movie in the collection, we are going to display please add movies of your choice. Okay, so now if I can drop this, or I can delete this just to make sure. Okay, movies, okay, copy paste just to make sure that it works fine, or we have a message. So if I refresh, we shall see a message, we are loading. And if data.movies, this is not right. It should be if data.movies.length, because movies is an array returned by the Apollo. So we have data.movies.length equals to 0. That means we have an empty array. So if we have an empty array, we are going to render this. So if I refresh, now you will see we have please add movies of your choice, and inside the data I have a movies, and the array is 0 and the length is also 0. So now we have please add movies of your choice. It's working fine. Inside a collection, if I John Wick 1, if I add a movie John Wick 1 with the year, okay, year is 2014. If I add it, okay, now it has been added. John Wick 2 with year 2017 or 16, okay, and with John Wick Parabellum with 2019, John Wick Parabellum with 2019. If I add this movie, so now we have 3 movies. Let us add the final one, John Wick 4, and then it will be in 2022. So now we have a collection of 4 movies, so we should be able to see 4 movies, and this text must be gone now. It is gone. Okay, so we have these 4 movies right over here. Wonderful. Okay, now we are going to add another movie, John Wick 5, for the last time, I swear. John Wick 5, it is in 2025. Okay, so now you will see 5 movies, 1 2 3 4, and then this fifth one, John Wick 5 2025. So now all of the information, all of our data is coming from the backend, and it is rendering perfectly into our front end. So if I inspect and then go to networks just to see if the loading is true or not. So if I switch to slow 3G, now it will take a moment, it will take some time, and we will be able to see we are loading your movies. Yes, so now if I refresh, you will see we are loading your movies. So now we are done with rendering all of our movies and all of our messages. If it is loading, we are going to make a message. If the movies are not there, we're going to render a message, and if everything works, we are going to add all the movies. So now we are going to work on this form. This form will generally add a movie to our application or to the backend, as to say, and we're going to work on it in the next video. I'll meet you there. Thanks for watching.